but others starting to rise. So for Heroes Hearth, I really like where we're seeing them go in some of these drafts.
Heroes Hearth's drafting has been really, really well done so far, and it's just kind of one of those, if they get pushed too far, do they pick too wild of things? And so far the answer has been no. It's been within the realm of control. You know, they've been able to keep things under their, I guess, what they consider normal or what they're willing to be able to play out here. But we actually do have a bit of a closer scope and look here towards the insights of Team 12. So we're going to throw over to a matchup video and see what their thoughts were, I think.
So obviously, roll 20 minus team 8 equals team 12, and obviously we're at least 50% stronger than when we were team 8, so there's a couple of reasons that go into the name of us being team 12. I'd say everyone on the team is at least to some extent, a fan of cats. I think everyone on the team has a cat with the exception of Goku, so we're just a couple of dudes who think cats are pretty cool and had to have something crying for our logo, so I guess it's Little Cat. So there's this K-pop group called Twice, and they have a song called TT. And in that song, the Korean girls throw up their TTs. It's a big fun meme, it's a big popular thing in Korea, so we just sort of adopted that, I suppose, because we've got a couple K-pop fans on the team.
Are we doing this right? Is this the TT? I think we got it.
We got it beautiful.
Yeah, I got a director to let me know I was doing it great, so thank you very much. There's some of the history there. I didn't know that's where we were going to throw through. That was really nice there. Of the name of Team 12, I put the math and numbers together that it was, 8 and 12, coming out with that and the roll 20,
math, yeah.
but I did not realize that, the whole origin with the K-pop and everything alike, there's a lot going on with what went into that name and that logo.
Something about esports and K-pop. One of the most, I guess, pronounced ones.
It's like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Yeah. Snitch is like big K-pop fan, and every time he finds out another guy likes K-pop, he's like, all of a sudden it becomes like the K-pop group of Heroes of the Storm or something like that. I don't even know. They need to come up with like a club name.
They do. They do need to come up with a club name. I'm going to leave that up to Snitch, as he is far more clever than I, in fact, am. And he also probably understands that subculture a lot better than I do. We're going to figure out where this battleground is going, and I've heard it's a doozy, J-Hal.
Vraxis Holdout. Just to put this into perspective, this is normally the map that Heroes Hearth bans. All day, every day, almost. It's like clockwork. Until today.
Until today. When you were wondering, why is Dread up here, sitting here so confused and so excited over some of the map selections and decision making, is because it leaves for moments like this. And it is now the team that is banned pretty much permanently. One map. Game number 1, the first option they get to choose a map in this series, and they go, you know what, we're going to take Team 12 to it. After the spray of the last game, and Team 12 picking Dragonshire.
I already have your answer.
Well, hit me with it.
Think about last week. Who's the #1 solo laner on this map?
Are you talking about Rexar?
Oh, you already know who the #1 solo laner is. I'm so glad that we're on the same page.
And we might actually get a Rexar. That's a really good point. He is, sorry, forget that,
You know who else I was wondering?
What?
Zagara.
I thought you were going to say Zeratul behind that, so, I got a lot less excited once I heard the A. Team 12. Do you ban the Garrosh? Do you ban the Medivh, Maiev, or something else?
You could argue that this battleground has to be considered one of Garrosh's best
battlegrounds, because he just stands on the point and goes, yeah, I don't care, I have 40 armor, it doesn't matter how weak I am a problem.
Oh, they don't want it.
They do.
Oh, they changed their mind. I'm really excited, though, on what Heroes Hearth has up their sleeve for this.
Yeah, I am too.
If they keep it standard, maybe we kick it old school with like a Vala support, a Hanzo redemption with the Tassadar again. No, they don't want the Garrosh. Yep, I hate to break it to you.
To consider the ban.
Oh, they definitely have something up their sleeve.
A Snap Junkrat Tracer.
What? I have a hard time with this one already.
Well, okay, so let's talk about some of the pros. Junkrat can win any lane in a solo lane whatsoever, but he's very susceptible to ganks. Which Tracer then leads to a strong... So what I see kind of formulating right now is going to be a 1-3-1. So be very, very afraid of a heavy 1-3-1 with a 3-man kill potential that doesn't care about the Genji whatsoever. I will say I question whether or not the Garrosh is going to be that major of a problem. Also, another huge mix-up that you can get away with at least having the Junkrat, but not the Tracer, I was going to say is a really cool 2-1-2, but that's a riskier strategy on Brax's holdout.
I still remember watching Gold Club, and when Team 12 first formed, they ran a very similar thing. I believe it was a Dahaka Ragnaros that they ran in top-bottom, and then they just 3-man rotated because they had essentially 2 solo laners with enough threat as well that they played that route. So maybe Genji does fit into that 3-man rotation. There's the Ragnaros. There's the Diablo. So if you want to get onto people, if a Dahaka comes in at the backside, look for them to kind of play around that. But having the Ragnaros right away, obviously it doesn't necessarily show too much because he does do well in a solo lane. Plus, oh, by the way, Molten Core to help defend. If you lose against that Zerg wave and then Lava Wave has potential here.
I'm really just sitting here kind of stumped on where Heroes Hearth is going to go from this point on. This draft has already gotten a little bit off, but it's also partly because of the map, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out what can we know is absolute and actually claw from these teams with these drafts so far.
Greymane would fit into the we can survive in a 1-4 if we need to go to it, but Greymane also adds to early game kill potential into that gank squad you were talking about.
Not a single support looked at so far. Dahaka being hovered is the ban out. Dahaka takes away from that 1-3-1 capabilities a little bit more, but not the hero I would consider a must ban on a map like Braxis. You can't act like on Dragonshire, you know, throw out on both shrines, but there it is.
Oh, yeah. Which means Arthalon is on Junkrat or Tracer at this point. Unless maybe McIntyre, or McIntyre. Is he the Rexar player in this instance? It was Arthalon last week. Who's been practicing Rexar?
I think if I was to guess, it's going to be Arth on Junk, and then Max going over to the Rexar. But, again, as you said, Arthalon is our literal only Rexar player as it currently stands in HGC North America. He's one of the few of the entire world over the past year.
Each week, just rotate. Everybody gets a shot at Rexar.
Yep.
It's like an initiation. This map brings out some of the most unusual drafts. Sometimes it used to just be way too standard. Now, you know, any notes that you think you had, any notes that you think you had.
Mouth.
Okay, this has to be a Lava Wave game because
no support. There it is. We figured it out, boys.
Did we?
I mean, I did. It just took all 10 picks. I don't understand what you want from me here, Jay. Okay, I'm just a simple man.
Okay, all I can think about is, I'm not going to lie, I've played a lot of Abathur, and you know where a lot of the choke points are, a lot of the pathing is. That Abathur ends up being Locust Nest damage at level 1. ADRD, you only kind of see it, like you don't see it too often, but ADRD will literally put a whole bunch in a bush.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nobody really does that because, you know, if it doesn't work, then what are you really getting? But if it does work against the Zeratul, against the Genji,
it's pretty much a one-shot to either one of them.
It's pretty fun. I might have done this a time or two.
Yeah, what he's talking about is you take essentially 50% mine damage at level 1, then plus the cooldown of mines and storage of mines at level 4, then mixed with the slow at 7. And when you walk in, it is just explosion of mines, nearly one shot. It's a bold one. A bold draft from beginning to end. Let's be real here on the side of Heroes Hearth. We're going to go to Brax's holdout for Game 2. See if Team 12 with this Ragnaros potential Lava Wave, even for that matter, comes in. I actually think it's going to be a Sulfuria Smash purely based on the Zeratul pickup that we got to see. But
I thought so too, but if you lose a Zerg wave, you are strictly reliant on a Molten Core for wave clear, and that's it.
But if you don't go full Sulfuria Smash, you're purely reliant on any other follow-up other than like a Genji all-in. Like you're relying on a reset happening with the Genji 100%, Otherwise, they're going to survive and just go, okay, well, you can Void APOC me all day, but you don't have any follow-up damage. So Fear Smash has to be that resource.
How did Zeratul end up being the pick there and not some type of sustained damage with some survivability to just kind of really disrupt things here? I'm still a little bit lost.
I think it's mainly going to be with the intent that it kind of just matches probably Junkrat, if anybody. It can make Tracer second-guess herself with a kill potential quite a bit.
I kind of forgot that Abther was the only support. So obviously going into the heal at level 1.
Yeah. Also, we have to keep in mind that, also because that Junkrat can be such a laning problem, and it is the 1-3-1, if you will, picked up for HeroesHearth on their side of the map. But it's mainly because Junkrat is so good into all non-kill potential, just wave killer oriented, like Blazes, right? Malthael's even, he does pretty well. But Zeratul actually provides enough threat to make the Junkrat look a little bit weaker, so it's a pretty good lane matchup for him. And that's, I guess, the kind of thought process behind making it in that lane.
Well, Rexar holding point for now. McIntyre on the Tracer. It's just, again, Arthlon will remain our only one. Outside of the top lane, Dread, I just kind of wonder where HeroesHearth will manage to obtain control over the beacons. But if you're Team 12, if you can get that one pick, you can control some of the lanes. You can control a few things. Ishbu going in, finding that of Team 12 there on the point.
Dansky goes over the wall.
This is already beacon progress.
But it's denied here on the bottom half. The question is how long can they kind of maintain that? Because that was also because the camp was a greedy call in terms of timing, good invade out of Ishbu. There's a lot more than that just being a full win victory. And also keep in mind the skirmish was actually heavily lost by HeroesHearth. They zone off again.
Again for that camp.
Yes, I would, again, this is more...
That camp
Team
does
12,
what?
Nothing. Not 44%, I'll tell you that.
Ishbu backing out. The skirmish continues. Now we'll have to see that. Crowan obviously on the Junkrat. That's where your wave clear kind of comes in. See if this does get any amount of push here. McIntyre on the flank side there. You can see on the bottom, see if he finds somebody to do some damage on.
Justin trying to get the stun into that turret. Just a half fraction of a second off. Did you know I just asked for a fraction of a second? That is, man. When I took a minute to really sit and reflect on what I had to say, I was just like, a half fraction of a second. What am I asking here?
Yes.
Yes is the answer.
The answer is yes. We are going to see Animal Husbandry, the pickup at level 4, same as last time. Just remember, for this, every second that you are alive, not Misha, but every second that you are alive, you gain 2 max health. Obviously, not dying means that as you get to the later game, your health pool much, much higher, that of a tank. Right now, at the earlier levels, Rexar, not the highest health pool because, you know, he's got a bear there beside him to help protect him.
Ishbu stunned against the wall. Justin going to flip him over into that root. Gets the shielding from Abther. Not enough. Dansky gets that reset.
That could open up things pretty drastically as we already see Zeratul, Diablo, and team moving up towards the top, and that's where those Abther mines are going to really have the value. Zeratul actually blinked over the wall, waiting for an opportunity to get on that. You know, the Abther hat can help reveal. Who needs the reveal? You just put the pulse bomb directly on him. McIntyre going in.
Great recall.
Wow.
That was clutch. And Zeratul ends up getting picked
to the
anyways
mines.
to the Abther mines.
Oh my.
That was just...
I'm like, wait a minute.
The cherry on top. HeroesHearth East, man, talk about a moment of demoralization there for Cure. 54% has been accumulated by HeroesHearth. Still a pretty big man advantage. Ishbu gonna get stunned out. Gonna get the hat now too. Percentage gained here for HeroesHearth. You know top's not going anywhere. You've got to find a way to win bottom here, Team 12.
I kind of wonder.
Misha just sits on the point and goes, this is my home now. This is where I belong.
Ishbu's sitting on a bed of roots there as he's trying to get out of there. Trying to see if he can get the... Oh, he just missed it. So you canceled the symbiote, try to get it again. You could see the icon just barely appear, try and get that heal. So if you're trying to make sure and get those burst heals, you cancel. Wait a few seconds, get the next one on. Unable to get that off in time. Ishbu has fallen.
And here you see the Ragnaros going to the Molten Core for anybody going like, oh, you know, why do I see a random Ragnaros? Because it's not so common, especially as of late in North America. The answer there is such a good defense towards that Zerg Rush. 100-0, and you still only lose a turret after all that damage output. But look at this pressure from HeroesHearth. They're going to gank top. They're almost looking to dive it, but they have no sidewall down, so that's going to be unrealistic. Instead, look to get the pressure on the front wall. So normally, you'd be like, okay, I've seen front wall turrets taken. Why does that matter, right? That is now removing 50% of the defense that Ragnaros is going to have versus that Rexar. How much has Rexar controlled that top half? So
about the entire time.
Exactly. So now what I'm trying to say is now that it's only going to get that much harder and harder with every ounce of pressure HeroesHearth applies to the top half of the map. If you thought bottom was uncontrollable and top was difficult, now both halves uncontrollable for Team 12.
Team 12, again, spending a decent amount of time, Dread, on that camp and giving up a bit in the process. And those camps have not amounted to much so far. You got to wonder if there's got to be a change up in pacing and mentality of what they're going to do. Junkrat just continues to clear that up. You know, Ragnaros the only one. He's not going to be able to push with this. And you can see those towers there. I mean, they're still sitting at 75, 60% health.
McIntyre is terrifying.
Dude, that was, I mean, that's quick twitch motion right there.
Yeah. He's just, the fact that, I mean, if you look at where he starts at, right? Because he knew he was only had one person down there and he's going to go for the all-in kill, so use everything on it. But the fact that he starts at that, I mean, he's sitting on top of the altar itself and then triple blink in, still almost enough to provide threat. No wonder that defense is that much, you know, kind of easier for HeroesHearth when you're always afraid of McIntyre on that tracer.
Well, the camp here picked up at the top. Now under assault is the side of HeroesHearth. They're going to try and hold on to this a little bit differently after having that gate that was being attacked. Looks like they're going to be able to get enough, but hold on a second. The recall is going to be there. McIntyre just barely getting out alive as Justin going in, finding that tracer, unable to confirm the kill with the rest of the team.
19 seconds out until the next Shrine phase happens. Notice how both teams committed the 4-man to the top half, and this has been a response of Team 12 towards HeroesHearth and the pressure they had towards top. But it's going to be just fine for them, again, because they got that damage out beforehand. And they got Rexar dealing with bottom, even sending McIntyre for another kill. Ragnaros has to be very, very careful.
Diablo, he's on the wrong side. Ishbu going to go down again. Not enough supporting thus far.
Chrome might get this kill. Not enough nades, though. Going to be out of ammo. You did see Goku ended up surviving the gank as McIntyre gave up on that kind of skirmish up on top, went for the fight on bottom instead. The fact that Team 12 did end up getting those kills with the 10 spike and, you know, the shrine, or excuse me, both of those beacons being up, I thought they would send somebody bottom to try and secure that and gain that, but instead just going to apply the pressure towards top.
All right. APOC hasn't been locked in. Obviously, we end up getting the Sulfurous Smash. All right, there's APOC. I was going to say, is there any chance we get Lightning Breath? There's not with this combo.
Yeah, not with this Wombo combo. Setup's too good there. Here we go. Action is here. BBJ on that the new Barak clone. Got the explosion after that Riptire. Nothing gained. Just a bit of a, you know, sloppy-ish initiation there between the double and new Barak.
Was it at Eastern Clash we got that? We kind of wondered, like,
yeah,
what is this? Yeah, the double Anubarak is pretty terrifying. That is 4 stuns.
Yeah, it was Zealots. They chained it back to back to back to back, right? It was just unrelenting. So hard to deal with McIntyre. Gonna have to deal with Dansky up in his face here for a second. Misha gonna go ahead and do work still on the bottom half with that Ragnaros 1v1, not giving up that control for a second.
You missed that big-time initiation. Generally, the Sulfurous Smash is probably going to be following up on the VP. It's kind of hard to get it on the APOC unless it's extremely well-timed. You kind of have to make sure and pick your point. This would be one of those points right there. It's not needed if Twilight Dream is going to be used. Dragon Blade out as well. Pulse Bomb, I think, missed in the middle of all that, so no return damage to really keep Team 12 back. And now, looks like Team 12, are they bossing? I think they're bossing right now.
Yeah, they are going to be bossing. It's going to be a free pickup too. Nobody on the side of HeroesHearth making the rotation, but it gains them a lot of percentage here. How much will they end up getting? They end up getting 100% for this boss. I'm going to say I don't think this is worth it at all on the side of Team 12.
Some questionable calls so far, Dreadnought. They ended up blinking over. Misha's going to hold point. It's okay to sacrifice her life as long as she goes.
Yeah,
that's why you see them flipping them over. But
yeah. Because now this boss is the easiest clear, and bottom 4 is dead for free. Or you go in the top half and get that 4 for free and then get the keep and get more.
Look at Tracer's positioning. Tracer's position and a new brand.
Oh.
There it is. There it is. That's all that they needed. They knew exactly where he was going to be. Goku needed to go up, use that mold core. Beautiful there by HeroesHearth. That is I love that play by Heroes Hearth Dread.
And the reason that's so impactful, right, is not only is that rotation to the top half of the map, you can be like, well, obviously, you know, somebody to defend that's going to be safe. But the Ragnaros Molten Core has pretty much the entire draft of Team 12 hinges on that guy going up there, stopping the Zerg Rush.
Is this going to be a core race?
I think it will be. And in fact, this core race is going to be heavily won here towards Heroes Hearth. Even with the Void, it doesn't matter. They win this race by miles.
That boss might still be able. They might just trade out a keep here. Heroes Hearth, they're going to have to be on the backside. Cure, seeing if he can lock anybody in. He's not going to be able to. That's going to be Genji and Malfurion staying on the bottom side, on the side of Heroes Hearth. That Zerg Wave's going to continue to push. This boss will trade out. So Team 12, in the end, ends up getting the trade out.
Yeah, they ended up getting the even trade there, and I didn't think they would see a keep for a keep in that type of situation to where they ended up honestly finding themselves on top. So when I was saying, you know, would that Zerg Rush 100% versus the boss be worth it? It turns out it was.
You kind of now wonder if Heroes Hearth maybe might have just wanted to push core there, but even then it's way too early.
I would definitely say that came down to Heroes Hearth committing enough resources towards top that it was apparent that they were kind of poking around, do we want to try and end this game? I can't help but feel like Void Prison was part of the reason they were like, no, we do not want to end this game. 5 seconds of not being able to hit the core with the scaling according to the core's HP to damage of heroes right now, it is not enough to be able to get out past that window, then pulling back and then end up now going even. Heroes Hearth, I mean, theory is actually behind now in this game. It's just going to be about the race and the talents here towards 16. And Team 12 hasn't been proactive during the laning situation, other than that one pickoff they got towards the top half.
This is now, I mean, first we get Braxis, then we get the new support comp. We got ourselves a Rexar. We got ourselves this really aggressive Team 12 composition. Look for Cure to see if he can find an opening for that VP. That is kind of the main initiator. You get the VP and the APOC and the Sulfurous Smash, it might open the game just completely wide open. And if they can get that, we're getting in the territory late enough in the game that one full team wipe will be game at this point now that that keep is gone.
It might be, you know, a really good intent to kind of cocoon, you know, the APOC. If the Void doesn't land onto Ishbu, then you just find the cocoon. Actually, that's going to be early cocoon use. Pulse Bomb goes on to Cure. Not enough damage. He keeps himself alive. Here comes in the Riptire. Misha trying to get the track down. It explodes, but no kill yet. There's the Dragon Blade. Twilight Dream goes in onto the Tracer clone, not real Tracer. Great job there by BBJ.
We're just running to safety. Bud's doing his best to dodge all of those grenades coming out from Crowan. Yeah, I'd say that Bud's lucky to be alive there, as is Cure there on the Zeratul, as that did not go very well for Team 12.
30 seconds out. 16 advantage still going to be here for 12 over the next Shrine phase. Now it's on, you know, kind of the shoulders of Heroes Hearth to make something happen here. All the heroics being used is going to be, I would say, an advantage on the side of Heroes Hearth. They get a bit of an invade. Goku sharking around. Misha's going to contest the point there with Cure. Concussion Mine's going to secure it. Misha ends up dropping with that devastating charge out adjusting.
And all that does is give stacks, right, at that point. That's actually his first stack, and if it's free, then you might as well take it. Obviously, I think he was trying to contest that, but very good job by Crowan making sure that they do obtain that. Now, it's time for the third Shrine phase. Beacon phase. Altar phase.
Whatever word I decide or comes to my brain the fastest phase.
You can see the Junkrat using that concussion mine to get over Cure and Justin and see if they try and be aggressive. Ishbu from one side. Cure goes in, but Misha comes in with the charge and says,
They have no Void for another 10, so no initiation opportunities coming out from Team 12 for a long while. McIntyre's nowhere to be found for a second. Ishbu actually get flipped over, uses the cocoon. No healing is there. End up getting the kill, and New Barak out. Team 12 is going to get some percentage for themselves.
Team 12's core.
Yeah.
I mean, Abathur is dealing with catapults on his core. Okay, minions just spawned. You can see the shielding still going to remain on the side of Heroes Hearth. Team 12, once again, Dread, has turned their attention towards the boss. Tracer, however, is going to go ahead and move directly onto that beacon. We'll see. Will the trade-off be here again? Last time they gave the trade-off. This time they're sending Zeratul blinking over the wall to the top. Concussion Mine, is it enough? Not going to be there.
Huge route there from Buzz to make sure Misha can't contest that longer, and McIntyre can make the rotation up and make that a 4 versus 4 boss fight. That was actually a very subtle but huge play for Team 12.
This is so tense right now that this could go either way, and you talk about the boss on the
Cure
top
got
lane.
revealed.
Oh, going over, but Justin coming in, gets the interrupt there by Ishbu, and you can see saving his life. Crowan, Dansky already out with the Dragon Blade. He's trying to do more. McIntyre, he's going to go down. Now, if they get the Beacon Progress plus this boss, this could be the victory march for Team 12.
Yeah, there's enough pressure on the top half of the map that it might draw somebody back. I guess it's just one catapult on the core. Nothing to worry about, especially knowing that that boss is going to stall out all the minions on the top half. Rag did end up making the rotation.
Ishbu saving lives right now. Misha getting charged in. Another devastating charge stack for Justin there on the Diablo. The Roots locking in. That is a Rexar clone, by the way. I was like, where does that extra health from?
Cure comes in with the Void. There's the Apox. No Sulfura Smash, but not going to be needed. 2 resets immediately there for Dansky. Riptire blows up out from Crowan, enough to get the kill on the Cure. 1 for 2 trade in favor of Team 12. Now Goku looking to join the team. They have the Zerg Rush going to be backing them up. Keep in mind, when this keep falls, there is going to be a Molten Core, and there is going to be an attempt for the game here for Team 12.
Catapult's probably not going to do enough. The one there, we're still 15 seconds away from the next one as this push goes in. There's the Sulfura Smash as McIntyre goes down, and that should all but seal the deal here. As you said, there's the Molten.
Damage out. Cocoon, I don't think is going to be enough. There really is not even a single thing I feel like they can get the defense. Dansky keeps himself up with the heal, 88%. Making it rain there. Molten Swing attempt. Not even going to be used. All in and on the core here. Very, very fast. Team 12 ties up this series here in game number 2, and on Brax's holdout, we're evened up 1-1.
Well, we said that this probably would be a very competitive series with a lot of fireworks. I'd say that Heroes Hearth making sure that, you know, we aren't making liars of ourselves as they pick Braxis. They go supportless. Abathur, Rexar. You know what? That's 0 for 2 for Rexar. Still not giving up on him, though.
Still not giving up on the Rexar. I, in fact, probably am. Not on Misha, though. My heart, I always believe in Misha. Just Rexar, on the other hand, have a hard time kind of believing in that. I mean, it was a good job, though. That entire game, the creativity with the draft on the one side, Team 12 not panicking, I think is something a lot of people kind of undervalue, is when you hit the comp that wild, you're just going, oh, this isn't going good early on, and then identifying how can we slow this down, how can we get to those points, finding a couple of picks, and then both of those bosses finding a way to get the value needed out of it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more action here between Team 12 up against, man, I forgot the other team.
Heroes Hearth!
I was beaming that.